All right, welcome everyone to the Gyms podcast. We've got a bit of a unique episode today. So don't switch off. If you're listening to this, don't turn away because you saw the label, which is Gyms Insurance. It's not going to be a boring one. We're going to talk to Jadran, who's been with us for around 12 years in the Gyms group, who was right at the start of the Gyms Insurance Day. We're going to talk about all the things that have been happening, a lot that happened in the 12 years, how it came to be, and the actual benefits of using Gyms Insurance. It's not just a plug for Gyms Insurance, but we're going to go a bit behind the broker, the stories about the claims, all these different things which you're not going to see from typical insurance companies in terms of content. So Jadran, you're a bit of a character, mate, so it's great to have you on today. And
thank you, Joel. It's been a long time coming, I think. So
I've been bugging you for a long, long time,
yes.
5 years.
Yeah, and I had dark hair, Joel, when I started.
You did. So Jim's turned to white hair pretty quickly when you came day one. So let's talk about Gyms Insurance. So Gyms Insurance has been around for probably 12 or 13 years now. Because you didn't come at the start, but you came to rescue it. So let's talk about that.
So February, Jim got his broker license February 2011. And he had 4 different managers, within that time. And you started in legal, I think.
Yes.
And then you had an opportunity to jump into insurance. But I remember the agency rang me October 2011 and said, I've got something for you out at Mooroolbark with Jim Penman. And I said, oh, okay, because I wanted a change. And I thought, okay, well, how about you go and we'll see when I can come in. So Jim said, it's going to be a Sunday at 11 a.m. And I said to Kieran, I said, Sunday? I said, what do I wear? So anyway, so I got, slacks and a shirt, and I met Jim at his house. Lee was cooking breakfast, and we were just on the couch having a coffee and having a chat. And I didn't proceed with that. And then January 2012, Kieran rang again and said, Jim, wants to have a chat to you again. So then I went on my Christmas break, and I had a good think about it, and I got sick and tired of the city travel job. So I took the gig. I started March 2012. I remember between jobs, we went to the Gold Coast just to have a break for a couple of weeks. And you were already in insurance. Jim rings me up and says, Helen and Alina have resigned. Do you know anybody? I said, oh, okay. I was on the Cracker Duck, I think, at the Gold Coast that goes from water to land. Anyway, so the rest is history. We found somebody who helped us out, Joel. But yeah, you were only a young buck, 23 years of age.
No idea what I was doing, mate. And I had just chaos in that area. So let's give people a bit of background. Jim has an idea.
Yes.
And he has the idea and he's real passionate about the idea.
Yes.
But sometimes the execution can be very difficult.
Yes.
And starting your insurance brokerage from scratch can be very difficult. And I think at one stage I had like 9 or 10 people in Jim's Insurance.
Yeah. So I got a bit of background, and I found out the first 12 months there was 10 people. There was everybody getting involved, 4 different managers. And I think you said to me when I started in the first week, Jadran, if you don't work out, I think we're going to close the doors.
Well, that was true.
That was true, wasn't it?
It was just hemorrhaging, yeah.
And the rest is history. It all worked out. We had a lot of support from underwriters, especially Pete Marshall. He was there.
ProRisk, yep.
Yeah, ProRisk. He was there to help us out. And look, the first 2 years I called it Operation Repair. As you know, Joel, we had to fix a lot of things between franchisees and franchisors. We used to get prank calls from somebody.
Oh yeah, all the time.
All the time, somebody saying that it's not going to work out, and they used to hang up.
Yeah.
And then they used to ring up again and just talk rubbish to us.
There was a lot of, in the early days, people don't realise, but yeah, because you used to do the phones, I did the emails.
That's right.
You were way better on the phones than me, and I did the emails, I was happy doing that. And
Yeah,
some of the calls and the messages that came through, because it's a very touchy time, because the franchisors were let down so many times with Jim going to do it. I understand from their position, because he said this, and then 3 or 4 times you've been let down. You don't want to keep looking like an idiot to your franchisees, and I understand the franchisees' frustrations.
Yes.
So it was hard to sort of try and communicate no, this person's we're going to be here for the long haul. And it took probably 6 months to a year of actually being in the job still.
Yeah.
And doing what we're going to say to do.
Yeah.
And then relationships start come repair and away we went.
Then we put an article in the insurance business news. And wow, didn't that get some airtime where people thought, what's this guy? He does Jim's mowing.
There's so much arrogance when Jim tries his hand at any new industry and gets a big PR push, like whether it be beauty or whatever. And you get the detractors all the time. And as I said to Jim, we just did an interview before. He's been here for 13 years, so he's really stuck it up him.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, I think this insurance broker's grown year to year in terms of revenue and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And beyond the Jim's book as well.
Yeah.
But the early days were very, very tough. There was only 2 of us at the start. We went from 10 to 2. I had no experience. Then you're in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got Sally on board, who was really, really good operationally and fixed it right up.
Yeah.
And then away we went.
So, you were with us for 4 years, and then you've gone to bigger and better things. But look, to run an insurance brokerage, you've got to have the good people around you. So in my first week, Jim said to me, as you know, there's no red tape here. So I've come from red tape. When you ask for something, it takes 6 months. So Jim said to me in the first week, he said, you work with the departments around you and do what you have to do, and if you don't get it done, you speak to me. So we did. We spoke to IT, we spoke to the finance department. So we spoke to all the departments to make this happen, because I knew that we're there to help the franchisees, because I understand Jim brought it in-house just to make sure everybody's got public, liability insurance.
And that's the key. Yeah.
And when he did bring it in, I think the figure was 800 didn't have current insurance.
Correct. Yes.
So that was a huge issue for the group. And I think Jim mentions in chat that we need to make sure everybody's insured to protect the group, to protect the franchisors and the franchisees.
It just takes one claim, and that's correct. And that people think initially, it's just Jim trying to make more money. It wasn't the case at all.
Yeah.
If it was, he would have made the policy a lot more expensive and just,
Yeah.
But you're exactly right. And then there have been claims over the years where if there was no liability with that person, we can't go into specifics of some of those claims. They've been pretty serious ones.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking about serious physical injury to someone else at the hands of, as an accident.
Yeah.
If it didn't have it, it would bankrupt that family for one, and then fall back on us. So it's such an important thing. And the only way we can ensure truly, in a practical sense, that franchisees have current liability insurance is to do it in-house. Yeah. Even if you let them do it externally, it'd be a full-time job monitoring everyone's policies.
Definitely.
You couldn't do it.
No, so. and it's actually very important, being a sole trader, you've got to have insurance, because I'm convinced there's independents out there that don't have any insurance.
Yeah, exactly. And I agree with you. And we deal with a lot of independents all the time saying, the Jim's guy's more expensive and this and that, but I can guarantee you to the customer, you can go with an independent. They might tell you they have liability insurance. They might show you a certificate. Doesn't mean it's current.
Correct.
Every single Jim's franchisee's policy, 100% is covered and active.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's the main thing.
And, we actually gatekeep. Look, we, run a tight ship, John.
Yeah.
And it's important that we are all protected. And if a claim does happen, and there has been some big ones, the insurance company is there to help us out. And we're there to guide the franchisees and franchisees, through that process. But just going back when I started, I remember the insurance industry people I knew, they said to me, "You're mad, what are you doing?" Because there's a revolving door down there.
It was not good. Yeah, it's not good at all.
And look, for me, I just wanted another challenge. And, it took us 2 years to fix it, but I think we're there. And we want to grow it outside of the Jim's group, right? To the public, right? And we had to do all the renewals manually, as you know, Joel. Yes. You did them yourself.
2 months, 3 months to do the manual renewals.
So then we introduced the online system, right? Yeah. And that was something that you were heavily, working with the developers and making sure that we have a system for our franchisees that can take out their insurance and make sure they've got their documents quick.
Well, it's very unique, because I know for a fact that under the other home services franchisees, they get handed a PDF from the thing, and you go manually and fax it back or whatever they do, or PDF, whereas our online system, it was more out of me not wanting to do the manual policies, I was doing it. So, but no, we've got a really good setup. I think it's a great setup. It's really, really unique in gyms, and I think it's a really good system we have.
And one of the complaints was always that Jim used to get from outside, was, when am I going to get my certificate?
Yeah.
But now when you do your insurance, you get it straight away, right?
Yeah.
So
it's quite funny to hear. Like, I remember back in the day, all the when the MGA and these other brokers were going really hard. I don't know what relationships were on the side and stuff, but knowing what the service is now compared to what these other brokers are, because I do know a little bit about MGA and these other type of people.
Yeah. It's
just chalk and cheese. There's no comparison. And I think the big thing as well is if a franchisee doesn't get where they want the claim, or a franchisor, they email Jim straight away. He's down at 11 o'clock at night on the email, whatever. It annoys you, and it used to annoy me.
Yeah.
Or you come up to your desk with a franchisee on the phone and go, Jadran, I've got Tom Smith here.
Yes.
Where's his claim at? With the franchisee on the phone.
Yes.
You're not going to get that at another broker.
No. We look, it's just important that all these sole traders out there, franchisees, they have the correct insurance, because they're always out there on the go, and accidents happen, and claims. We're there to help everybody, right? We're not here to not help. Like, when you spend money with Jim's Insurance, all you get is a PDS, is a document. And that's all you pay for until you have to use and put in a claim. So when you put it in a claim, we're here to help you out, right? And we're not perfect, but we always try our best to help clients, to help, franchisees. So, and we understand the importance, because, like you said, Jim's on our back all the time.
Oh, yeah, see.
If things aren't settled, he comes and talks to us.
Yeah, look, if you're a franchisee listening to this and you've only got one policy with Jim's, and that's for whatever reason, I would urge you just maybe look at that, just from a service point of view, because you're not going to get Jim helping you with your external insurance company. No. Because that's half the reason why I brought it in, because he was getting requested to go and help with an external insurance broker or something, and he just can't do it. Whereas with this, if you've got, or let's say you've got 4 policies with Jim's, you've got Jim who will help where he can on those 4 policies. So that's a really big thing.
Yeah,
look, I don't think we sell it enough. But
and look, Jim's Insurance now is 13 years old, and I think we've built a really solid foundation now for us to start building the walls, right? And we're here to help, right? There are claims that are not covered, right? And we guide, the franchisees through that, right? But not every policy covers you for everything, right? But I do remember, especially on personal accident claims, because it's an emotional, it's loss of income. So we have good relationships with the underwriters, and we will, if we think it should be covered, or it's a goer, we will push back.
Yeah, I've seen that a few times. That's a good point to make to people, because the book's so large with us. Yeah. You have extra weight when you want to challenge a ruling from them as well.
Yeah, definitely, Joel. And look, we always look at ways to improve things, right? Jim always mentions that. Always look to do things better. So we always look at ways. We're doing a new website now. These videos are all new for Jim's Insurance. So we're going to ramp things up in the next 6 months.
Now, let's talk about renewal pricing, because it's obviously a great point of conjecture.
Yeah.
Do you want to just explain how renewal pricing works? And because it's a group, it's done as a group.
Yeah.
Just want to explain that, unfortunately, if you don't have a claim, for example, just how that all works. It's obviously a big point of conjecture over you.
So I cast my mind back to 2019, which was probably quite challenging. The price went up a lot, with the underwriter, and didn't hell break loose. It wasn't pretty. So the way the insurer looks at as a group, they look at the premium that they receive and how many claims they pay out. Hypothetically, if they receive $1 million premium and they pay $1.1 million, well, that doesn't work, right? The price goes up. But if they, take in $1 million and they've paid out 500, well, that's a 50% loss ratio, right? So they want a bit more than that. So they probably want, say $300,000 of claims, and then the premiums based on how the claims are tracking as a group, right? So we just did the renewal process for April, and all franchisees out there will probably notice that it hasn't gone up. So
It hasn't?
No.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so which is great news, especially with cost of living and all
That's
those
really,
things.
really good, and that's awesome.
Yeah, so we've got the support of the underwriters, but we're constantly working with underwriters to just make sure that claims, ratios are down, and we also risk manage, Joel. We've got a depreciation schedule, right? We've got, for example, scratch glass on the new builds. The excess is higher. So we always are looking with the underwriter to risk manage so the prices are reasonable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a great point, because the common thing we used to get would be always like, well, why is my premium going? I haven't claimed ever and stuff. And the thing is, you're part of a team.
Yeah.
And if you go the individual route, that's okay, but we can't guarantee that everyone's got insurance and stuff. So it's benefit of being with the group is that everyone in the gyms group has insurance.
Yeah.
But the downside is, yes, you do get punished if there's a large amount of claims. But as you said, the unique thing about gyms insurance, what you guys do, is if you notice a pattern in claims, if there's a trend and it's just you put a higher excess, to not stuff the book up.
Yeah.
And then that keeps it down. That's really good to hear that it didn't go up at all.
Yeah, so that's our April renewal, so that lasts for 12 months. So that's great news, right? So, but yeah, we're constantly looking at risk managing, making sure that we keep premiums down at a reasonable price, right? We constantly get people, especially mowing. Oh, I've got a price for $300 for my franchisee.
Yeah.
And what's your occupation? Lawn mowing. So just lawn mowing? Yes. Well, you do more than that, don't you? You do gutter cleaning, you do all those things. So they come back and say, yeah, price has gone up. So
what's the actual policy covering? Yeah.
What is really important is that the underwriters we deal with, they understand the gyms group.
Yeah.
Right? And they understand the unique structure. We can all jump on the online and get a price and all that, but it's different because they understand the gyms group structure and they understand the coverages that, that's required.
Yeah, let's give a couple of examples of this, because it's a really good point. So, for example, Jim's mowing franchisee. You're right. Yes, you could go on a independent website and just put in you do mowing and that's it.
Yep.
But as you said, it doesn't cover hedging, gardening,
gutter
soft landscaping.
Yeah.
A lot of our guys use excavators. All these sorts of things, right? And the underwriters, like if you had an accident with a excavator or something and you try and claim under that policy, which just covers mowing, you're not going to have any coverage, right?
Correct.
So the important thing with our underwriters, as you said, they understand that our franchisees do beyond their service codes, for example, and might go outside. Handyman's a perfect example. So is fencing, right?
Yeah.
There's so many services they can do.
Yeah.
And if it's a bit outside, the underwriters give you a bit of leeway if there is a claim.
Yes.
And you're just not going to get that elsewhere. And that's a big point to point out.
Oh, definitely. And when I started here, Jim said, you need to fix this.
Yes.
I said, so this is my first day. So you need to fix this, have a reasonable product, right? And make sure that the service levels are up.
Yes.
So this is my first day, and I thought, right, we'll get stuck into this and roll up our sleeves. And it was really you and I for the first 4 years.
It was. Two people.
And we got on with it, right? So we're not here to rip anyone off. We're not here, to say, oh, Jim's making money. We're here to help you when the time comes, right?
Jim's wanting to make more money out of insurance. He could quite easily do it multiple ways, but he doesn't do it.
No.
And I think the beautiful thing is about the premium not going up this year, for example, is a great example of that, when most insurance premiums outside of gyms will be going up because of the
cost of living.
Cost of living and multiple things, right?
Yeah.
But I was going to say as well, the claim process then. So hopefully no one, touch wood, never has to claim.
No.
But the claim process, do you want to talk about maybe the benefits with some of the products you guys, I know you guys have a few benefits with it, and just talk about maybe the financial thing as well regarding the PA policy.
Yeah. So with the actual claims process, when we send you an email and we ask you, say, for example, 3 dot points that you have to do, if you give us everything, we lodge, the claim gets settled quickly. If you give us dot point 1 and 3, well, that's a delay. We go back to you, you've got to give us 2. Then that takes 2 weeks.
Yep.
Then you eventually... So if you give us everything what we've told you in the email, claims get settled quickly. So you need to be, look, well, there's people that say to us, oh, well, I just mow lawns, my wife does that. So, that's okay, but if you give us everything, the claim will get settled quicker. But just be really cautious that when you do give us the documents, you don't do it in dribs and drabs, right?
Yeah.
You give it to us all together and we'll have it settled for you.
It might be a pain, just get it all done at the one.
Correct. Yeah. And personal accident claims, and we understand, it's very emotional, and we understand the importance of when you do have an injury and you need income to come in, right? We work with point insurance, constantly, and if it's a straight up and down claim, Joel, those claims go through, right? And we're there to help you out, where we make sure, again, if it's a straight up and down claim and there's no pre-existing conditions, those claims technically get ticked off and we move forward. Right?
So let's just run through that. So 7-day excess, a 7-day waiting period for accident, 14-day for illness.
Yeah.
And whereas most income protection is like 60 days or it could be 90 days. Or
Yeah, so income protection is more of a life product, right? But I think as a sole trader, anyone out, it doesn't have to be through gyms, Joel, but as a sole trader, you need to have some sort of insurance to protect your livelihood.
But I think, you got to make sure that you go to the PDS and make sure you know your waiting periods, what's coming on. Because the pre-existing thing I know can trip people up. So if you have a knee injury, for example, 20 years ago, and you do that, you do something to your right knee again, and you disclose that, you're not going to be covered, right?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. So make sure you read the PDS.
Yeah, and it's critical to have some sort of insurance to protect, because if your money stops, well, there's no money coming in, right? So,
but these can be paid pretty quick. So, for example, let's say if it's a broken leg, right? You might be out for 12 weeks. So you take away the 1 week excess,
and then you get paid every fortnight.
Every fortnight, right?
Yeah. So people will get
for
paid
up to 2 years.
For up to 2 years, right? But if you're up and about again after 3 months, well, then that'll stop and we all move on.
Now, I'll give you an example of a couple of claims. One that I know of, because I know we show it in our HNS, was franchisee didn't take the spark plug out of it, went to clear the blades and chopped his fingers.
Correct.
And that was pretty mangled and gross. And
it was.
We'll use that photo to make people listen to our HNS, but he got paid pretty quickly for 2 years.
He did, yeah. And it's important that, that was an accident, right?
Yeah, it was.
And I think they had to do something with the switch or something.
Yeah.
But that's just an example where the underwriters know Jim's group, right? And they understand the importance. And, like I said, Jim and I, we push back. If we think there's something not right here, we will push back, and the underwriters are, quite good, right? And we will work with them to make sure that we get a resolution. Right?
And the other thing I think which is unique that people should be aware of is the no proof of financials up to $1,000. A lot of people, if you've got a good accountant, they're going to be trying to various tax minimisation strategies.
Yes.
Right? So if you're earning a large amount of money, they're going to try and obviously show that your net profit's really small, right?
Correct.
So if you go and try and use that to let's say, non-gyms insurance product, for example, they're only going to pay you based on what you can prove, right?
Yeah. So if you choose 500, 750 or 1,000, there's no proof of income.
Yeah.
If you choose 85% of 1,500, and your proof of income is 20 grand for the year, they're just going to divide that by 52 and they give you that. Yep. So just be cautious with that.
Also with external products, I think you've got to be careful of that as well.
Yeah. Until you claim, you don't know what you're covered for, really.
Correct, yeah.
I mean, you get a PDS that's 60 pages. I'm just wondering how many people read that, right? So you pay for something, you get a book until you put a claim in, right? And then we're here to help you out, but that's when you start looking.
So what are the most common type of claims that come? Because you do the claims here, so what are the most common ones that come?
Yeah, look, we have a lot of glass claims, stone,
Through a window,
through a window or a sliding door. So we have quite a few of those. We do have a lot of theft claims as well in front of people's yards, right? Their trailer's gone, or they take it off one tow bar and put it on the other, and off it goes.
Horrible thing, yeah.
Shocking, and the guy's busy, right? So it comes out and it's gone.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So we have a lot of those. But there's, with cleaning as well, with the wrong chemicals used, we have those sort of claims, but that's really tapered down a bit now.
So their own products which are enzyme-based and they don't hurt anything. So that's a big key for those ones.
Yeah. So we have, bench tops claims, cleaning claims, dog wash. We have accidentally clipped the dog, so there's vet bills there.
Which is very low occurrence though. For the amount of dogs that dog grooming do, it's dog wash. It's a very, very low occurrence that happens. So it's quite rare.
Yeah, so they're the sort of types of claims we have, the antennas when they put a TV up and it accidentally cracks. Yeah. So we have those sort of claims.
Yes.
So there's all sorts of claims that we deal with. We average probably 400 claims a year. So that's, more than a claim a day.
Now let's talk about some funny ones. You don't have to disclose the name or anything like that, but I think this would be unique.
Yes.
What are some funny claims? I can think of a few over the years.
Yes.
Now we're not identifying anyone, so we can say this. But what are some more funny incidences that's accidentally happened out for franchisees?
So the beauty one that I use for training week is the one when you fertilise 4 lawns. Do not use Roundup to fertilise it because the lawns go brown, right? So that's a claim that has happened in the past. We have a kitchen bench top. If you're cleaning an oven, don't put the oven racks on a 30 grand bench top because it'll damage the bench top.
That's happened.
Right, so that's happened as well. So, these are all live claims, that are all covered, but we have all sorts of types. We had one where a dog got loose.
Yes.
So the franchisee was cutting the dog, but the thing came off, bolted, and as it jumped, it broke its back legs.
Yeah.
So there was a big vet bill there, right?
Putting stuff in the wash that shouldn't be in the wash. That's been.
Oh yeah, laundry service. If you see a brand that's Armani or
leather or something like that.
Or leather, don't just throw it in the washing machine.
Yeah.
That's a special clean, right? Yeah. So there's a 5 grand claim there. So, and we understand franchisees are busy, and we understand
mistakes happen.
Yeah, but things do happen. We had a ripper one, didn't we, Joel? Where a bloke put in Roundup in his rider mower instead of oil.
And blew it up, yeah.
And blew it up.
30 grand ride on me blew up, but it was covered, because that's a good one to bring up.
You pushed back, didn't you?
Yeah, because they denied it originally.
That's right.
And then we pushed back on the wording, actually, on the definition of the wording, and then they had to pay it.
Yes.
So that's a good example, actually, that one.
Yeah, so we could have easily just gone,
exactly.
But no, we looked into it, especially yourself. Yeah. You looked into it and thought, hang on a minute, let's push back on this. Yeah.
Well, it's all to do with the wording. That's why you got to read your PDS. But the wording was technically covered because it was accidental. It doesn't matter how it's done.
Look, after 35 years in the game, it's all about the actual policy wording and how it's read and how it's
interpreted against
interpreted with a different sort of wording.
Yeah, and it can be open to interpret the thing, and you can push back. And generally, that doesn't happen often, but the internal complaints process with insurance, it does take a while, but it is good.
Yeah.
So if you go and you're not happy, you can go to them, and then you can go beyond them as well to the ombudsman.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but look, Jim's Insurance, 12 years now, Joel, and
it was tough at the start.
It was tough.
It was a tough grind.
It was, because I did actually go home that first day.
What have I done?
I shook my head and I thought, wow.
Because you were sold something else and you thought it came to something that's completely different.
And and then I thought, no.
You stopped wearing the suit pretty quickly as well.
Yeah, definitely. Just casual wear, and we just had to deal. We just had to put spot fires out.
Yeah,
they were coming from everywhere, right?
Very, very angry in the early days, for sure.
Yeah, and we had a lot of people saying, well, why do we got to go, through gyms and...
Well, look, a lot of people had established relationships with their brokers for many years, and you understand that, and you're coming over and you're doing that, so they're obviously not going to let that go easy. They're going to fight.
No.
But the funny thing was that a lot of those brokers who they were going with done a lot of dodgy stuff with the trust money.
Yeah.
And that is well known, so it's not defaming anyone. You can look that up. But like Mr. Was it Barker Meyer? Mob, Barker Meyer ended up taking a lot of money from the trust fund, which they're not supposed to, trust account, which they're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
And they got done for that. So the great thing about Jim's Insurance, you're never going to have that problem. So
no, look,
that unfortunately does happen a lot with brokerages, doesn't it? Yeah. I should actually make people aware that unfortunately,
it happens too often.
I know, it's not good.
Like we get the news, the daily news, and there's always somebody doing
Some broker done for doing something.
yeah,
Trust account,
and it's just wrong,
Yeah.
right? It's important that we have a tight ship. We got a great compliance outside mob, that we use, Ivan and Mel, who always constantly looking at us and auditing.
Oh, it's every time. Yeah, I do think it's ironic that the broker they were pushing for back in the day as being really good was the one doing it. So a bit calmer sometimes with those sort of people.
Yeah, look, it was tough at the start. We had a lot of brokerages that thought that they could do it better.
Oh yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
And they really thought that it was just going to fail.
Yeah.
Right.
Mate, a lot of those brokers have been absorbed by the bigger ones now. That are out the game, and you're still there after 13 years. So credit to you.
Yeah. No, we straightened it up. We're on the path now of going bigger now. And
but what's next? Because obviously Jim wants to grow things as everyone knows.
Yeah.
So he obviously wants you to go beyond the franchise. Well, obviously there's a lot of franchisees who only have one policy, which is obviously can we get more on? But the other thing will be beyond that to the public. So obviously trying to get the best deal for them because that's the key. Obviously comparative pricing, that's always been a bit hard. But
so we've been catching up with underwriters and trying to get some deals done. We're not going to go live unless the prices is competitive.
It's a waste of time otherwise.
Complete waste of time for everybody.
Yeah.
And especially with commercial motor, because we've got 5,000 people that have a Triton or a Ranger or
caravans, they do well, these guys.
So we have access. So we're currently talking to underwriters to have something in place that's decent, but we're not going to go live unless it's decent.
Yeah.
So
it's been for a long time. So back when I was in there, we were doing this. It's just an industry which is so bloody slow, unfortunately, sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah. But we just need to get our ducks in order, and then we can get it right.
Because the vision for us, or for you guys anyway, what Jim you all want is basically a franchisee. If they've got a caravan, a boat, a house, they've got to make a rental property. They can do landlord's insurance, plus their liability, plus their tools can be all monthly funded
as
under one
funding.
thing. But it has to be competitive. That's the key, right?
If it's not competitive, we're not wasting our time, John.
Yeah.
So we just got to get our ducks in order and get our back office right with our underwriters.
Yeah.
And then we can go forward.
But also have that product. If they want to do an online quote, they can do that as opposed to the old piece of paper. And,
So it's it's all about tech now, right?
Yeah.
So we are working on a new website and creating new links and all that sort of stuff. So which is quite good. So we'll see if we can get that up and running. So that's our next step. But never lose focus where we started. It's so important. And that's our franchisees, right? That's our foundation.
Well, that's the main customer, exactly right. And I know Jim wants to expand beyond, but that's the main main people you've got to look after.
Yeah.
You got to look after, and the franchisors as well, and they're very helpful.
Yeah.
But we've got to say the franchisors are great in regards to
definitely
helping if there's a claim sometimes as well, or helping out. So they've been really good, especially with the payment, because that's really important. Like they've got to pay the policy for it to be covered, right? And obviously sometimes there's late payers or something might happen. So they're really good for chasing.
And it's really good franchisors. We let them know, and they sort of help us out. So which is really good. And franchisors are there to help, right? To help all of us. Not just Jim's Insurance, but all the departments here at National, right? So we understand that, and we understand.
But they'll tough in the early days.
we under.
Some of those meetings and stuff, geez.
It was, Joel, look, to me, it was horrendous.
It was, wasn't it?
Especially when you had 4 different managers. And
I understand.
As you know, everybody's an insurance expert, right? And I remember I think you told me, don't be a yes man, right? If you believe in something, you let Jim know, right? Because I heard that he kept getting told what he wanted to hear, and it never worked out. So there was tough convos with Jim, and something that he didn't like, and then he'd sort of walk out, right? But I prefer that, so we're all on the same page, because I was told, I think maybe you did tell me, that Jim does like to be challenged. So there were...
Might not seem like that in the moment, but after 3 or 2 days,
Yeah, so To actually fix it and straighten it up, we had to act like an insurance broker.
Yeah.
Right? And we had to do things as an insurance broker. Because 12 months prior to that, and previous staff, they promised the world to underwriters. So then when I came in, they all laughed at me.
I remember.
And said...
They didn't take anyone serious, yeah.
And they said, you're a joke, he or she said this, so why should we help you, right? So we kept going, right? We kept, we had a goal, and we just kept focus on that goal. We didn't listen to much outside noise, and we kept going, which was fix it.
Well, if we did listen to the outside noise, we would have been pretty depressed and quit. So that's the thing. But I'll point out to people as well. So we want to do this because, insurance marketing content's very emotional, very BS, very overproduced and stuff. So I want to do something a bit raw because the people who deal with insurance brokers are the insurance brokers. And you're the main one. So people, when they call, talk to you or they talk to Bailey.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure they can get to know you a bit better. So obviously, when they come through training, you'll have flyers and stuff which they have to get, and they'll come down there and they take them and they can answer any questions. It's an online process, so it's really, really easy. If they've got any questions, they can ring you up, but you guys will say, go online. Yeah. It's all online. But if it's out, there's some divisions which have to get onto you to get a PI form and stuff, which is professional indemnity.
Yes.
So we should have pointed that out, that not all divisions have just liability. They might have the PI component.
Yeah.
It's important, like pest control.
Test and tag,
IT, these sorts of
and that's totally separate insurance,
correct,
right?
Yeah,
which we're there to help out too.
Absolutely, really, really important part of the gyms group too.
Yeah.
But also, Jadran, what about yourself? There's probably a few things that I know about you that people don't know about you. So I think it's good to know your broker, because a broker is a relationship thing, right? So you got to know the person you're dealing with. So what do you do outside of being the legend you are in Gyms Insurance? Who do you go for in the footy?
I'm a Richmond supporter, Joel, but at the moment we're in trouble. But look, I'm when I started here, my kids were 5 and 7, and I remember you gave my son PlayStation 3, I think I was, and you still got it. Right?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So, but they're 17 and 19 now, so I'm heavily involved. Well, I was, but I've stopped the last couple of years. I was heavily involved with soccer coaching, and I enjoyed working with kids. With soccer coaching.
You coached a good level. So what level did you coach?
NPL under 14s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I enjoy that, but I'm getting a little bit old to carry balls, bibs, and cones. It's hard work, right? So you've got to deal with all sorts of facets in a soccer team, right?
So you also played for Australia yourself, which people...
futsal.
So you played futsal for Australia?
Yeah, a long time ago, when I was 17 and 18. So I'm 53 now, so...
it's a good photo of you. We should get the photo with the Australian... You bought the Australian jacket in once. You got the Australian jacket at home, you had the nice mullet.
I did.
Stolen out of the mullet.
I did. Yeah, that was 17, so that was 87, Joel.
Did you play NPL yourself outside? Or
no, I concentrated more on futsal. Yeah. So when I played up until 20, I think, in outdoor, and then you did what you had to do as a growing man, right? Yeah. So started going out and all that sort of stuff. But I concentrated on futsal. I thoroughly, liked that game, which is indoor soccer. So.
And you used to head out to Chapel Street a bit. Did you back in the day, the tunnel or the metro? What was it?
Yeah. Well, we used to go to all the nightclubs, Joel. Yes, tunnel and metro and warehouse. Yeah. But then I met my lovely wife when I was 20. So
locked up pretty quick.
Yeah, and that all stopped. So she's been a great support for me. So
and you're local in the area here too, so you're in
Yeah. So the purpose of it's so handy with working locally, because Jim keeps talking about work-life balance, right? So my kids now are 17 and 19, but it's so good working 20 minutes away, right? I used to be on the Eastern Freeway for an hour and a half one way, right, to get to my old job. So I think it's really important to have work-life balance, especially when kids are growing up, right? You have an opportunity, if you have to go to a school thing, you're there, right?
And what do you like working about at Gyms Group? Because you would have seen a lot of changes and a lot of things happen over the years. So what keeps you here?
Look, Gyms Group, there's never a dull moment, Joel, as you know, and it keeps us young. it's exciting. There's always something going on, right? You can sit in an office and wait till retirement, till 65, and go on your merry way. But here, there's always something happening every single day, and especially how many staff we've got here? We've got about 60.
Yeah, around about that now. Yeah.
There's a great team here, and we speak to the other departments, and there's always something going on where we get involved, as in Jim's Insurance, and we talk to each department and we help each other. It's a unique structure, Jim's Group, as you know, and there's so many facets of the Jim's Group, and we are constantly getting involved in all sorts of things, and it just keeps you young. It keeps you going. It's not your run-of-the-mill insurance broker down the road. No. It's a different type of insurance broker where, as you know, everybody's an insurance expert, and I'm okay with that. But it's not your broker down the road. It's a different type of broker, and there's no red tape job. Jim Penman's the red tape, and you ask Jim a question, he'll say why 3 times. But I think eventually we get there, right? But that's the beauty. There's no red tape, right? And we can go straight to Jim with an idea, and he'll say yay or nay.
And what about the environment? Because I definitely think it is a unique environment compared to, I've been in the city a few times. Look at some other offices and you think, geez, it's a massive difference. But how would you describe that maybe environment to people?
Yeah, so the actual grounds.
Yeah, the grounds inside, the environment.
The actual grounds here is the old, what is it? The old
Swinburne.
The old Swinburne school, or and huge sort of parkland, for the staff, and the environment in the Jim's Group. Everybody has got something on. There's always things are happening in whichever department you walk into. Something is happening, and everybody's busy. Everybody's always happy to have a chat and say hi, instead of just being a number, if that makes sense, right? Where we're all here as a whole team, and we're all here to support each other, good, bad or ugly. But that's business, right?
And over the years, do you want to give some shout outs maybe to what underwriters have been, maybe some people you work with in particular? You mentioned Peter Marshall at the start, who's been a really good supporter of Jim's, and Lee Cooper as well, who's been great there. So maybe you want to mention some maybe underwriters that have been really good, maybe some thanks.
I got to really thank ProRisk, really. They were there right at the start.
They were been really good.
Yeah, they've been good. And Lee Cooper's been around. He's an insurance stalwart, right? And he's still there helping out ProRisk. And if I've got any issues or I wanna run a question, I ring Lee Cooper, and he's more than happy to have a chat. Thank Pete Marshall, fantastic. He's been here from the start. ProRisk in general. So we deal with Hamish, who's the CEO at ProRisk.
Yeah, they've been really good. Yeah.
It's fantastic. Point Underwriting, Deb Crow, David Fogarty, fantastic. Sandra Matthews and Richard Coloretti's online system.
Yes. InsureTech? What
InsureNet.
InsureNet, that's the one, yeah.
Fantastic. Any broker out there, and you'll probably... Any broker out there that wants an online system...
They were really good, yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. I'd like to thank them. We've got continued support, right? And any other underwriter out there, Zurich have been really good as well, for, trades insurance. Every underwriter, and, now we place our heart to place insurance through Rapid Solutions.
Yep.
They've been fantastic. So I'd like to thank, Belinda Smith and Pauline at Rapid. Unbelievable. So, look, we have underwriters that told me to get stuffed at the start, due to the history, but there were underwriters that actually supported me, Joel.
Yes.
And I think we've flourished together, haven't we?
It's been a grind, but I was going to say, if there's any underwriters who actually who can help us out with the car and the motor and stuff, we're all ears to
talk to
anything.
Yeah.
Has to be good, great. Has to be online, quote and buy and stuff. But
but come and speak to us. Where Jim's Insurance does exist. We are a fully fledged broker. Been going for 13 years, and we're here to help.
Yeah, if you are listening to the end, thank you very much, and head to jimsinsurance.net.au or 1300 546 000. But I wanted to do this because, as I said to you, I was looking around, we want to market Jim's Insurance a bit more, and like, what's the point of difference, right? And you look at all the stuff, it's a stock photo, it's some stock photo of some fake person smiling, or it's a really well-produced video that's just really stiff and stale and just cool. So when you deal with a broker, I think it's important, it's about the person you speak to on the phone, right? Are they going to go to bat? Are they going to just, claims denied, not fight for you, this sort of thing, right? So just trying to make sure that you get to know your broker well, whether it's with us or someone else, but making sure that you're the right person who's going to go in and fight with you.
Yeah.
And you guys definitely do. Because if you don't, you got Jim coming down
always
across the road and he's going to get into it. But I really think if you're not, if you're doing one policy with us and you haven't done anything else and you're listening to this, give the boys a crack.
Yeah.
But also if you're an underwriter listening to this or somehow got your ears on this, we are looking to try and expand the products, and so maybe
always
come to the table. It's 13 years of stability now, Jim's.
Yeah,
really good track record as well.
Yeah. So, and all the franchisees and franchisors out there that I've probably spoken to over the journey. Well, this is me. So now, you'll know who you're speaking to. Like we touch, you guys on renewal or claim at least once a year.
Yep.
And that's 5,000 people, and plus franchisors, right? So, but it's been a great challenge, and I always enjoy a challenge. And I think somebody, when they said to me, "You're not going to fix it," we made sure we fixed it. And I think, we got big improvement, right? But we always look at ways to do things better, and that's Jim's motto, right? Don't rest on your laurels, but we're here to help out. We never lost focus on what we had to do, and we got it done.
Oh, well, you've been a character of the business, Jadran, for many years. You're a stalwart in Jim's, and all the franchisors and Z's will know you. So you've probably spoken to most of the franchisees and Z's over the years. So hopefully they can put a face to the name if they haven't seen or heard you before. A big thank you for doing this today. And it's a bit different. We want to do something, get some nice social media clips as well for the insurance profiles. But a little bit different. But as I said at the start, I think if you don't use us because of whatever reason, I think now's a really good time to do it, because you got to deal with yourself. You got Bailey, and you got Jim there to back you up as well if you don't use it. And if you're a member of the public listening to this, if you want someone who's going to give you really good attention,
call us.
Give us a call. Yeah. But thank you very much today for doing this.
And you're more than welcome to come back to Jim's Insurance.
No. Now it's good. Now it's probably no problem to come back to. Back in the day. Back in the day, I was like, geez, I've got to finish my degree and get out of here. That's what I was like.
Just one last note. When I started and the girls left, and then I've got a kid.
They all left on the same day, 3 of them. They all quit. They didn't tell me they all left. Yeah.
And I walked into the office and you see this kid, a 23-year-old kid. I'm thinking he hasn't got insurance experience. You got your tier 1.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, we've got to fix this. There
we go. Happy days, mate. But thank you very much for joining this. And
no worries.
If you have made it to the end, thank you very much. Leave us a subscribe or like. And look, we didn't want to make this a selling thing. But seriously, if you are doing one product with all your other products elsewhere, you guys will review their stuff for free, all that sort of thing. So just send it through. But thank you very much for doing it today.
No worries. Anytime, Job. Thank you.